When I first started facilitating sound sessions, although my approach to it was quite practical and more science and like real world kind of an approach, however, I could not shake off the fact that it did come under the spiritual dimensions. And when I would look at all these other people and how they would talk about spirit guides and channeling and angels and archangels and goddesses that speaking through them and like kind of channeling through them and then they coming in and doing the work and all those kind of things, I just could not wrap up my head around it. Like it was like this can't be the only way. I think somewhere it felt like it's part of their psyche or it's part of something that comes from a deep end of their own subconscious, which they have kind of categorized in a separate way. Because when I would do the sessions, I would have these knowings, but it never felt like it's coming from something outside, some other spirit, some other angel, some other guide, something other than my whole system. And so, now the first obvious question would be maybe I'm doing something wrong and maybe I'm not there yet or whatever. But then I've learned that just because something you don't do something the way it's being done does not mean that there's something wrong. You just figure out a language to see what is happening through you. And that's when I started noticing that we all have all these different voices. These are like compartments. So I have an inner critic voice, I have a judgmental voice, I have a pessimistic voice, I have a narcissistic voice. These are all these different voices. But then there is also this voice that can see through all these other voices, okay, and not let them come out at random spots and random timing. Now they have that place. I'm not dismissing these voices. I do not dismiss these voices. These are like kids playing in kindergarten, preschool, doing that bit hee hee ha hoo. So you see them, I recognize them. I get where they're coming from, but I do not, to most extent, I do not let them dominate the voice that's coming out. The voice is the voice that sees and recognize all these other voices, but brings them all together, makes it a complete whole, and make sure it's the message that comes out and not the mess, because these voices only spread the mess from or their insecurity, from their jealousy, from their lack of whatever is not there, their desperation, because these voices are louder, because negativity is louder, fear-based thoughts, ideas are louder. So these voices can always be loud, and when the voice of your being is not like dominating the whole all these other voices, that's when all these problems starts happening, like anxiety increases, restlessness increases, insecurities increases, because these voices, they don't, it's almost like they don't have a good parent for in their life, and so they are like jumping jacks and constantly trying to take over and trying to like see and find their way into the world. But when you cultivate that voice of your being, which recognizes all these voices and can take care of them and then bring that voice out, that's it. That's all the spiritual process that you need to know and understand and move through. Even if you don't go towards liberation and enlightenment and all of those other things, just having that voice of your being actually being on the forefront of whatever you're thinking, whatever you're doing, whatever you're speaking, even like speak the message, but not go around spreading the mess, does not mean the mess does not have a place. It's just not, like on social media or on like public spheres where just like throwing and dumping it on other people. That's not necessary. You can cultivate the voice of your being and take care of these other voices so that they can soften, so that they'll feel like, okay, they have like good parents who can take care of them. That's all that these voices want, somebody to actually like really like protect them, nurture them, kick their ass every now and then as well. So yeah, so if you are somebody who feels like you might be deep into your spiritual processes, but there is no angel guide spirit channeling through you, then this approach might be a little helpful for you to understand and spot that voice of your being, because it's there and you know it. Like if I'm saying it and something is like happening in your mind, then that's the voice that you could cultivate more and bring that voice out more than all these other voices that you have and will continue to have.